Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below-average Star Wars. I'm your host, Peter, and returning this week is Alan. Alan, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How's you, Peter? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Al. It's great to have you back. Obviously, you've missed the Mandalorian episodes there because you haven't watched it yet, and that's all fine, and that's all we're going to say about it.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a crazy week. We're going to talk today. Basically, Lucasfilm dropped this End TV spot. That's what's been titled. It's been titled End.
Yeah.
It's only about 30 seconds long. But there's quite a few little cool pieces in there that we're going to break down today and talk about what we think it means and what it could mean.
Yeah.
And they've also dropped some beautiful posters today, so we're going to talk about those as well.
All right.
So I just want to start off by saying, if anybody is joining us for the first time, thank you for joining in. Thanks for listening. You can catch us on social media, on Twitter, and that is @BorsStar. So just Star Wars but reversed. So it's @BorsStar on Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there and interact with us there. We love talking Star Wars. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @PeteHitmanHeart. Go and add me on those, interact with me on those. That would be great. And we have an email address now. It is sorry, it's not that's not how emails work. And jumping the gun there. It is starborspodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, if you've got any questions you want to ask us, or if you want to have a chat and you don't have social media but you have email, you can reach out to us, starborspodcast@gmail.com. So thanks very much for listening to that. Now to dive straight back into the Star Wars chat. Alan, I think we're going to get started on talking about this TV spot entitled End. I mean, for starters, let's just focus on that bit, End.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. We've been hearing that since the first press release for the movie. It's funny how they released this TV spot, and it pretty much has the same as we've already seen, but with I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in there that I've noticed that are different, that are new. So they're calling the End. They've left with some more little tidbits. They're starting to really gear us up now, I think, for this movie.
Yeah. I mean, what we've got a month left to it, you know. So yeah, it's that's what the feeling I get with this TV spot when it's there, it's ready. You're gonna get you've seen everything that you need to see now. Now it's just time to just go and watch the film, you know, type of thing.
And I don't think it's going to be a case of past movies where we'll get 12 TV spots in the run of the film. I think we will get some more, but I don't. It'll be a handful. It won't be a lot more.
Yeah, it'll be sketchy. It'll be here and there, you know. I don't think this film needs to be more hyped up. I think everybody's excited for it.
Yeah, certainly seems so. I know I am. I can't wait for this movie. So I think let's just dive into the TV spot. So obviously it opens up with 3PO giving a speech about how he's looking at his friends for the last time, which we've already seen. But I noticed a little difference. Obviously, look at the beginning of that. And also I noticed the shot showed you who's actually in that room now.
Yeah.
So I noticed Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, obviously, BB-8 C-3PO was there, Babu Fink's there.
Yeah.
And I also noticed Zori Bliss this time round, standing on the left-hand side of the shot.
Oh, did you? I missed that one. Yeah.
So Zori Bliss is Kerry Russell's character, who she is a sort of a bounty hunter / smuggler from the planet Kijimi. And she's got a past with Poe Dameron. So the fact she's there, to me, that was obviously I didn't realise she was in that scene before, but I just noticed her there whenever we watched it. So I think that's really cool, showing you that maybe she's going on this adventure. Maybe she's led them there. I think where that building looks like maybe that is Kijimi. It's a planet we've not seen yet. Obviously, we know that is Zori Bliss's home world. I think she used to run maybe a spice cartel or something like that out of there. Cool. I used to run with her anyway. So yeah, I think there's a good chance it is Kijimi. And I think she's definitely there being a good guy. She's helping Poe Dameron out. She's helping the squad out going on this adventure. And I'm guessing that perhaps Zori Bliss is the one who's put the Resistance in touch with Babu Fink. And is it Babu Fink or Babu Frick?
Babu Frick, I think it is,
Babu
isn't it?
Frick. There we go. I've been
Yeah.
pronouncing it wrong the whole episode. So maybe she's put them in touch with Babu Frick, and he's doing whatever he's doing to C-3PO.
Yeah, or Babu Frick actually works with Zori Bliss type of thing.
Yeah, so maybe he lives on the same planet as her. Maybe that is
Mhm.
Kijimi, and he knows her from there. What were your thoughts about that shot? Did you notice anything special about it? What did it make you feel?
It pulled on the heartstrings a bit, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm going to put my hands up. I'm not a. It's not that I don't like C-3PO, but compared to everything else that goes on in the Star Wars world, I'm not the biggest C-3PO fans. You know, I recognize, that a lot of people are, but it pulled on the heartstrings. You know, it's every time he says those words, saying one last look at my friends, it does. It's like, oh, you know, and then all of a sudden you just seem to just love C-3PO even more. But I never noticed the Zori Bliss in the corner. But what I have noticed over the TV spot is there's loads of little things in the corners that are there for like the splittest of micros of seconds. You know,
Yeah.
I do think that this is a build-up scene to the final battle type scene thing. You know, that seems to go on. You know, so I think that's what that's about. You know, like they're all gearing up and getting done what needs to be done, all the preparations and whatever's inside C-3PO's head that needs to come out. You know, and that's the time that it's coming out.
Or they're putting something in.
Or putting something in. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so you're saying that you think that this is before the group meets back up with the Resistance for that final battle, that final showdown.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that there's something that they need to do or something they need to have obtained to be able to finally beat Emperor Palpatine. And I think, obviously C-3PO is a link, and I think that's what they're busy doing there. You know, I think that's what that scene is. And then once they get done what they need to get done, then we'll go off and have the big, massive hurrah scene, you know?
Yeah. And then, so after that point, we then see Rey in that sort of white corridor, white room, very white, where we saw in the trailer her and Kylo were fighting.
Yeah.
And then this time around, we see Rey standing there. She has the lightsabers away, and she's got the staff on her back. And we see the Vader mask, clear as day, right there, the one that we've seen in The Force Awakens. The remains of Vader's face from Endor, the Forest Moon, that is. What did this make you think?
It's not so much as insightful as what we've already seen. If you know, it's more a confirmation scene. That's what I think of it. You know, it just makes us wonder where that white room is. You know, is it on Kylo Ren's ship, or is it on a planet? I don't know.
It makes me question whether that room is real. Like, for how white that room is, I don't know if that's maybe Rey is in the Force vision, maybe, or like
like
Spawn that she has with Kylo.
Like a little bit like the room that in Rebels when he goes into the room to finally it's like a Jedi type room, and he ends up fighting the I can't think of the words now. The
Temple Guard.
Yeah, the Temple Guards.
So that's like inside the Jedi Temple, yeah. So I don't think they're inside the temple, although they could be. But there's just something, the colouring of that room just seems a bit strange. It's very, like, it's extremely white for a reason. Like, they've chosen it for a reason to be like that.
It's too. It's like the only other place in the Star Wars universe I've seen anything be so white and clean as Bespin.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, it's first order design. You can tell by the design of it, but it's very white. So
yeah,
I don't know. It might be maybe Kylo Ren's has got this shrine, and the shrine room is all white. That could be very possible, but there's just something about it that maybe says that this isn't as clear cut as it looks. Maybe it's a vision, maybe it's a dream, maybe they're using the Force bond again. But yeah, so the Vader helmet's there, which is brilliant. I'm glad we're going to see that. Obviously, it's the Rise of Skywalker. It's the final movie in the Skywalker saga. It's great to see some imagery from the Skywalker's past, which is what that helmet represents, which was great.
Yes.
It also leads to the fact where, like, obviously Kylo still has that helmet, obviously. Has it been talking to him? Sort of, I've always been of the idea that the helmet does talk to him, but I don't think it's Anakin. I think it's something pretending to be Anakin.
I think it's Palpatine. I think it's been Palpatine all along.
Could very well be Palpatine.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see that. We're going to find out, which is exciting. So it was great. So even though the helmet, but to see it like right there in the middle of the shot was great. Very exciting times.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, we then got those first order bikes.
How cool are they? Eh?
Yeah, so I mean that's on Persona, I think. And what makes me think that is that the Lego set is called Persona Chase. And it's like Ray on one speed being chased by those. I can't remember what the actual name for them is, but they're sort of like what's the word? Because they're running on like tracks on it, like a track speeder, almost like a tank front.
Kind of thing, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
huge wheel. Yeah.
So it's great to see that in action, that moving. Which we actually saw one of those at Star Wars Celebration, I believe it was on display. There was 2 speeder bikes. I think there was 1 speeder bike from the Mandalorian, and there was one on the other side next to StarWars.com live stage, which was the was that one.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
So
I think I said the same thing when I saw them as well. How cool are they?
Yeah, it's cool because obviously they're not hovering, which I know some people are a bit like, oh well, we've got speeder bikes, why would you need to make one of them? But it's Star Wars, it's fun, it looks different, it looks really visceral, looks really cool, and I'm glad that we're getting a new speeder. It looks really cool. It'll be fun to collect.
Yeah, but the tanks and and my words are going. I apologize to everybody listening. My words are going everywhere. But there's one of the films where there's actual tanks that come in. They don't hover. They've got tracks. Why can't bikes have tracks?
Yeah. So like I said, they're really, really cool. I'm glad we got a glimpse of those in action. Yeah. So we also see the Falcon coming out of Lightspeed. In front of a sort of a desert rock planet. If that's not Tatooine, because we've seen Tatooine before. So I think that is Persona.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think we're going to visit a lot of worlds, but I mean, how many worlds can you cram into one film?
Well, this is what I've been thinking about this, because I think we're going to get quite a few. I think the movies will be very. It's strange because we see obviously like in this TV spot we get to see Kylo mask with the new mask fixed with the with sort of the red welds.
Oh, it looks awesome. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's sort of with the Japanese Kitsugi feel to it.
Yeah.
And obviously we've seen Kylo on the Death Star ruins fighting Rey with no mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see him here with the mask. So it's a bit like, does he have the mask first and take it off later, or does he not have the mask and puts it on later? Obviously, I've got no clue. It could be either or. But it's got a very interesting notice where you think we're going to see that ocean world, ocean moon of Endor, which the name escapes me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see that one. We're going to see Kijimi, I believe. We're going to see Persona, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's 3 worlds straight away. I do believe we're going to see the forest moon of Endor. So that's 4.
Yes.
So I mean, there's 4 planets already.
I mean, that's quite a lot, to take in. But it's going to be a big movie.
Definitely.
And I agree with you. There is going to be a lot of jumping around, but I just wonder how many you can actually fit into one film before it starts boggling your mind a little bit.
I think as long as it flows, it's fine. I think Rogue One does it perfectly, where it jumps from world to world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and they did it perfectly. So they've got the team who know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is Persona, and I think obviously that's bike is the first order bike there is from Persona as well.
Yeah.
We then skip to a clip of it's almost like we're in a town, brickwork town. It's snowing at night time.
Yeah,
we see Rey.
Looks like a entrance to a temple type thing.
I mean, I'm not sure about temple. To me, it looks built up. It looks like people are there. So it looks to me like it's not derelict. It looks like an actual town.
Yeah.
And obviously Rey's there with the lightsaber turning on. It's snowing. And I think this could be the same planet as we saw the guys in at the beginning, talking to C-3PO, possibly. So I think it could be Kijimi.
It could be, but did you see Kylo Ren on the left-hand side?
Yeah. So I was about to get there, but so that planet as well. And there was some production photos of Kerry Russell's character, Zori Bliss,
Hmm.
back when they first announced it and first showed you the imagery of her, and like the architecture looks the same.
Ah, right.
So that's what's
Okay.
making me think it's the same place, the same planet, the same town. So I think
Yeah.
that is Kijimi, and I think that is where we first saw Zori Bliss in the production photo that was released. And then I think it is the same place where Babu Frick is working on C-3PO, the same town.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
obviously, yep. So we
I'll
see
go with that.
Ray.
Yeah.
So we see Ray. Who's to say they've gone there? They're not being chased by the First Order. So Kylo's
Mm.
followed them there. Obviously, yep.
Yeah.
Kylo's on the left hand side. His lightsaber's turned on as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Is there going to be a duel there? You've got to think there could be like 3 duels between Ray and Kylo in this movie because we've already seen them duel in the Death Star ruins.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're both in front of the Palpatine, which isn't on the Death Star ruins. It's somewhere else with that crazy
Yeah.
Sith stone throne. So that's somewhere else where they could duel. We haven't seen them actually duel there, but they could duel there. And then they could duel at this place as well.
I think I'm going to say a lot more than that. Actually, to be honest with you, I think wherever Ray is, I think Kylo's going to be, and wherever Kylo is, I think Ray's going to be. You know, while
Yeah.
they're jumping around from planet to planet, I think they're all going to meet up on that planet before they go to the next one.
Well, I think Ray and Kylo are certainly like the 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It's like Snoke says, darkness rises and light to meet it. The darkness has risen in Kylo Ren, the lightness has come to meet it in Ray.
Yeah.
So I think like they are sort of yin and yang, if you think of it that way. So whether that means she's there to destroy him or whether it means she's there to redeem him.
Or they're just there to cancel each other out and
There to cancel each other out,
again.
yeah. Or maybe he's there to turn her, or he's there to kill her. Could work the opposite way as well. Who knows? But I think they're definitely connected. They're definitely 2 sides of the same coin, I would say. And there's definitely a quote from, I think Ryan Johnson's definitely said that, or maybe it was JJ actually. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But someone from the production has said that's what it's like. So yeah, it was really cool to see sort of not just Ray turned on, but then obviously the fact that you do have Kylo there with his saber turn as well, sort of menacing. It's teasing action in more than just the places we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's basically saying expect everything from this movie. Like anything could happen, anything and everything could happen. And this is just a 30-second clip, and they've already like wowed with.
Yeah, I really am. I'm expecting a lot from everything that's been going on, especially this last 30-second clip. I'm expecting a lot out of this film. You know, I'm expecting a whole heap of nostalgia. I'm expecting a whole heap of action, a whole heap of storyline. And the storyline, if you know, I mean, okay, we're all busy around connecting the dots right now, you know, which is part of the fun of Star Wars and everything. But if you connect the dots together, it seems like it's got a really good plot line as well.
Well, from what I've got, so Adam Driver's been on the press circuit this week, doing sort of Jimmy Kimmel,
Oh yeah,
and all those sort of late night shows
yeah,
in America. So I can't remember who he was talking about. I think it was Stephen Colbert, as I always say it, the guy who hosted the Rise of Skywalker panel at Celebration. Is that how you say his name? Stephen Colbert, is that right?
Colburn, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So so Adam Driver was on his show,
Uh-huh.
And Rise of Skywalker came up, and Adam Driver sort of saying that like this story, what they've came up with, sort of Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams were the writers. He said it's like really, really fulfilling, and like you couldn't have imagined what they've actually come up with to sort of end it.
Yeah.
And he made a point of saying it's not just ending 3 movies, it's ending 9.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really coercent saying that. He just come out with that, if you know what I mean. Like, so to me, that says like, I mean, Adam Driver's one of the finest actors of his generation working today, but loves story and loves storytelling. And if that's his opinion of this, that's very exciting, I believe.
Yeah, and he's not the first person to say that either, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's, not everybody, but like, there's a few people who've said the end scene is going to be something out of this world, you know?
Yeah.
So
speaking of out of this world, the next scene we see is a First Order hangar of a Star Destroyer, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And we see Rey sort of running and jumping out of a hangar. Something forces Kylo Ren and Stormtroopers to be pushed back. The ship engines of the Millennium Falcon. And Rey dives from the hangar towards the ramp of the Falcon.
Yeah.
with Finn is on the ramp of the Falcon, holding his hand out, and he's wearing the mask from inside the giant slug in Empire Strikes Back.
Is he really? All right, I never noticed that.
He's got the mask on. It's the same mask that they wear in Force Awakens when they're hiding under the floorboards when Han comes in. So so they're wearing the masks. So that's a really cool little callback for me. What did you make of this?
It's interesting, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, is this going to be more powerful Jedi Force thing where she's managed to push everybody back while she jumps herself forward through whatever so she can get to the Millennium Falcon, you know, like the Force Field? Or is the Force Field being opened? You know, but then if the Force Field's being opened, then surely everybody else would be getting sucked out.
So
you know?
I think the Force Field works where you can pass through it. It keeps the atmosphere on one side, but physical objects can pass through it. So I don't think it's actually like a shield, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's a weird little scene because it's not like she's running towards it. If you notice, she's stood there waiting for the ship to turn up.
Yeah,
you know, and then they all turn up behind her, you know, and then all of a sudden, from walking towards her or running towards her or whatever, you know, then all of a sudden they've just got like there's an air pressure against them. They've got to balance themselves again. It's such a strange little scene to work out what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the air pressure, the push on Kylo and the troopers in the hangar is from the Falcon's engines. I believe it's just rocked up. It's perfect timing. She's jumped just as it's turned up, and it's a plan. Like Finn knows to be there, and Finn knows to catch her. Like the perfect plan, almost like Return of the Jedi, where like Luke knows to be on the sail barge. He knows to get. He knows to to be on the skiff. He tells R2 to get lightsaber. He jumps off the sail barge, activates the lightsaber. Leia knows to start destroying things and choke Jabba the Hutt. It's like the perfect plan comes together.
Yeah.
So I was feeling that sort of vibes from it. I noticed Kylo in that scene is not wearing the helmet. But he does have it in his right hand.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of the helmet thing. Like, it's just... I don't know. Like, I just kind of get the feeling that sometimes he's got it on, sometimes he hasn't.
He's obviously took it off around Rey there because it's in his hand and she's in the scene. So he obviously feels that he can maybe trying to lure her, or maybe so either he's trying to do her by saying, "Look, I'm actually Ben Solo. Look at my face, right in," or maybe like he's taking off to reveal himself to her because he's starting to turn to the light. Maybe she said, like, I don't know, this is just a theory I've just thought of, but maybe she said, like, I'll meet you here where the Emperor is. If you turn up, I mean, that means you're good, you're going to help us kill him.
Yeah.
Possibly. It's just pure, like, blind speculation.
Isn't it? But that's the fun.
Yeah, definitely. That is the fun. And I think, obviously, my advice is don't dial in too deep on your speculations because anything can happen and you'll just be disappointed if what you think doesn't happen. But I think if you can speculate blindly and have fun with it, it is the best part of fandom,
isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. So I think for me it shows a sort of not a vulnerability, but like Kylo feels at home revealing his face to Rey now, which obviously you first did it in that torture scene in Force Awakens. So here you see he's obviously with the mask in his hand. He's got it off for a reason. He's got it off for the reasons that he wants Rey to see his face. I mean, whether that be for good reasons or bad reasons.
I mean, you saw in the last film, there's a massive bond between the two of them. You know, so I mean that's obviously going to get played on. You know, whether they're fighting each other or whether they're talking to each other. You know,
what I believe I first heard this on Sky Talkers podcast. Like again, like everything I talk about from. If you want to listen to the best Star Wars podcast on the planet, go listen to Sky. By Charlotte and Caitlin. So they always put it this way. They always put it as Kylo Ren and Rey are both. Sort of tools of the cosmic force,
right? And
so the cosmic force, let me get this right because it's going to get complicated, is sort of like the weird part of the force, the side of it that's like the side that created Anakin and the side that has the will between worlds,
kind of like the real force.
Not sort of the real force, but the side of it, like the crazy side. The real force for me, like it's like so you can see, so Jedi's have powers and they can move things and move rocks, yeah. But that's not the force. The cosmic force is like the force is like brain. It's obviously thinking. It does things. It creates things. Does it by chance, or is it doing things for a reason? Like, I don't know. But the idea of the cosmic force is that it's doing things for a reason. So like, there's Kylo and then there's Rey, and they're both two tools sort of the cosmic force, sort of in the cosmic force is maybe trying to bring balance. So maybe it's bringing them together, or maybe it's creating one, or maybe it's creating one to fight the other. But so I love that idea how they are both sort of like tools of this cosmic force.
Yeah, I buy into that one. That's kind of not in those words, but yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think I've always thought that as well.
Yeah, and it definitely dials in. Obviously, like, I've known you for a long time. It's sort of similar to your belief of the wills and stuff. It's that sort of vibe, isn't it? That sort of similar thing. What you think about the wills, isn't it?
You know, yeah. I mean, however that comes out, but I mean, it's there's been a slow back burner for a while now of this wild side of the force coming to the fore, you know, and I think maybe that's what Emperor Palpatine is tapping into to come back, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's definitely up to something. Yeah, you see him in Rebels when he's trying to get in the world between worlds. Like,
yeah,
did he get in? Didn't he get in? We don't know.
You just don't know. Yeah,
but if he did, this could be why he is alive. If he is alive, obviously we don't know what state he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got any other thoughts about Rey? Sort of, I mean, the imagery is absolutely brilliant, and the fact that that's going to happen in the movie, like we're going to see someone like a Jedi jump from a hangar into a moving ship. It's not just that, but it's like Rey jumping into the hands of her best friend Finn, who came back to save her in The Force Awakens. All links back to their friendship and how important it is. It's all about, not only is it awesome imagery, but it's like awesome friendship. It's going to be awesome, powerful moments. Powerful moments, powerful emotional integrity, and just sort of jumping away from Kylo as well. So it's just sort of going away from Kylo towards Finn. So that's quite sort of saying a lot. Again, is she jumping to say like follow me, or is she jumping to say I'm getting away from you? Time will tell, obviously, when we see the movie. But I think it poses a lot of thought.
It does, yeah. And I don't really want to speculate on it because I don't really know, you know. Again, I think it's just going to be another amazing part in the movie, and yet again, Rey's done another amazing jump.
Definitely. Well, there's a lot of jumping, if you notice, because there's a lot of jumping in that first trailer as well.
Yeah.
So that ties me to the last point really about this, is that you get this dialogue at the end saying, we are all in this till the end.
Yeah.
Which is sort of saying they've all come together. This is the big fight. They're going to end this Sith or these evil people once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to get defeated once and for all. Obviously, Star Wars is the story of hope, and the good guys win, and that's what I hope will happen in this movie. So I think, again, a powerful tagline, we're all in this till the end. Makes point of like, not only are these characters all in this till the end, the Resistance all in this till the end. Old and new, obviously Lando's coming back, things like that. Mm-hmm. It's fun. But also we, as fans, are all in this till the end. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. We're all coming together. We're all talking about, obviously me and you are here talking about this. People who listen are talking about it. All the other awesome podcasts out there are coming together talking about it. So it's like, again, it's that double meaning where like, not in like 3PO in the last trailer where he was like taking one last look at my friends, and it was like double meaning because we were taking one last look at Star Wars like this Christmas, or at least Star Wars as we know it. And again, this line, we're all in this till the end, it's like we are all in this till the end, and the end's coming, we're all in it together, and we're going to have a great fun time. It's going to be emotional, it's going to be sad, it's going to be happy, it's going to be exciting, you're going to be filled with goosebumps. You're going to go for all the emotions, is what I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
it's going to be one of those films where you sat thinking about it the next day.
Next day, I think I'm going to be thinking about this for a long, long time now.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's the rare few films that come out that you don't really do anything much the next day because you just sat thinking about it all and then you're just running it through your head, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those films. You know, definitely. I mean, Christ, the first one came out the year I was born, you know, and I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. So it's been a hell of a ride.
Has indeed. I've just got to. So that brings. Is there any other thoughts you have on the TV spot?
There's a lot of lightning. have you noticed in the background, just in like when you get to the final 15 seconds on all the scenes, there's lightning everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
So,
lot of lightning.
so could that be maybe? I know there's been rumors lately about sort of force ghosts fighting force ghosts. Could it be like lightning everywhere because there's all these force entities running around? Or is it like a lightning storm maybe caused by, obviously the Emperor has lightning powers, as we know, we've seen him using.
I think
to do with that.
Yeah, I think it's more simply like, you know, when I think when we talked about it before, when I've got the theory that the ice gets melted and then the fleet's there.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a lot of it is that, and that's how the ice is getting melted. There's lightning strikes, and you know where it's like in the middle of the sea and the storms and things like that. You know, I think that's more that way. You know.
Yeah, well, I'm great about that because it's gonna segue lovely into our next point. Is that obviously Dolby Cinema have released a limited edition poster yesterday as well. So it's Poe's X-wing in front of a Star Destroyer, Imperial Star Destroyer. And then we see other Imperial Star Destroyers in the distance. One thing with me, the Star Destroyer, it has the red outline.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same ones as we've seen coming out of the ice or coming out of the rock, depending on how you saw that in the trailer. So to me, it says that, I mean, I've never seen Imperial Star Destroyers with outlines on them before. So it says to me, have they been waiting for the Emperor this long? Has he had this plan the whole time? And it's crazy to think if he has, like how long he's waited, and how clever he is, how diabolical he is.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't like to play in my chess.
Yeah, definitely not. So, I mean, the poster's beautiful. It looks great on the wall. It looks like a great piece of art, not just a film poster. I'm not quite sure who designed it, but whoever did, like, that is a great piece of art.
Do you know, the one thing I take away from the poster, I noticed it today, if you turn it upside down, right, it's very similar to Jaws.
It's probably styled that way, maybe.
You know, it really is. When you look at it, you know, you've got the X-wings, the little swimmer, and then you've got the triangle of it's the shark. You know what I mean? It's upside down Jaws picture.
Spielberg and Lucas obviously connected very well. So who's to say this artist didn't have this idea? Oh well, I'll invert it and make it this, which is really interesting. As I don't know who designed it, but who I did, like that is brilliant. It's a beautiful poster.
It's a clever bit of artwork.
Well, Dolby last year got a great one done by Paul Shipper, who's a great artist as well. I don't think he did this one, but if he did, brilliant. But he did a Dolby one last year not last year, sorry, but like 2 years ago for The Last Jedi, and that was awesome. And again, they've done it again here where they've chosen artists and they've done a great different feel, lovely feel, authentic feel for the poster.
Yeah.
Going off from that, speaking of posters, StarWars.com and all the social medias have dropped all of the character posters, which I think look absolutely beautiful. They're very retro looking, feel very 70s. So it's black background or white stars, and you've got your characters at the forefront.
It's very classic Star Wars.
So there's one for every main character, really. And some of the new minor characters, including Jana and including Zoe Bliss. My three favourites were, I love the Rey one. Straight away, the pose is powerful. She look how she's thinking. She's got the staff in her hand. You can see her blaster on her leg, and you can see the saber on her hip.
Yeah,
and you get a really good look at that saber and how she's fixed it. And it looks like she's like put something around the middle. I thought it was like a bandage at first, but it's almost like a metal strap that then has leather, that then has an activation switch. It looks like a beautiful piece of art.
It's a Fitbit.
Yeah, so it looks awesome, and like I want that for my collection. Is what I've decided after seeing the poster. So like that Rey poster is brilliant. The other one I loved was Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, he looks very dignified there, doesn't he?
Very dignified. Looks like a leader. Looks like a guy with all the knowledge of his years. I love how he's sort of wearing the similar clothes to sort of from the Solo movie from Donald Glover's Lando. Obviously, he's working that cane well. He's working that cape well. I think he looks one smooth dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other favourite one, my third favourite one, I'm just keeping it at 3, is the Rose one, where she's sort of holding like a heavy blaster. And then
she looks proper rebel, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's holding a heavy blaster. She's got a handheld blaster on her hip. And she's dressed, she's ready. Shows you how she's stepped up now. Like, she's going to be sort of a leader in this resistance. She's not just a mechanic anymore. She's equipped. She's dangerous. She's going to do what's right. Do what needs to be done. She's wearing a necklace that obviously her and her sister shared. She's still wearing that, which is great to see. I think we're going to get, obviously, because of how long this movie is, how many characters, I think certain characters aren't going to get a lot of screen time. Which is only natural. Like any movie, if you look at but it doesn't matter, because I'm not saying that in a bad way, because look at how much screen time Vader got in A New Hope. It's minimal, but it's about what you do with that time. So I think the time that we're going to spend with Rose, I think it's going to be powerful moments, and I'm excited for that, because I think she's a great character, and I think Kelly Marie Tran plays that brilliantly. So I think. Yeah, we're not going to get a lot of that, but I think when we do see her, it's going to be powerful moments, big moments that define a character. It's going to be why she's a fan favourite again.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been a bit worried because really in the build-up, you haven't really seen a lot of her, you know? And I remember somebody had commented on it before, like, where is she? You know? So it's nice to actually see imagery there, and, you know, that's just part of the group type of thing.
Yeah, and the picture's so prominent as well, so I'm excited.
But just going back on what you're saying about not having a lot of screen time, I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of characters that don't have a lot of screen time, you know, but then they've turned out to be beloved characters, you know. So, yeah, as you're saying, I agree. You know,
I mean, you've got to think, like, if you look at the defining moments in Star Wars, take Last Jedi straight away. So, like, defining moment in that movie is when Luke speaks to Yoda.
Yes.
One scene.
It's
basically less is more. If you're creating these scenes, if you're writing these scenes right and then executing them correctly, then a scene lasts forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to have Rose on screen for the whole movie giving dialogue. Yeah. It's like less is more almost. If you use her correctly and you give her the powerful moments and write her well, Kelly Marie Tran will obviously act her well. Like she will be a powerhouse. She will be a powerful hero. Which I think we're going to get, and I hope we get. And I think, like, there's going to be a lot of screen time. I know Chewbacca doesn't get a lot of screen time in this trilogy, but when he does do things, the big things, like when he blows up, activates the bombs and Starkiller Base, it's him who presses the activation switch after Han gets shot. Like, do you know what I mean? He's not in that movie much. Sort of in Last Jedi, he's not in it much, but he's the one who basically helps Rey get him and Rey turn up. He's flying the Falcon. He takes them on a Merry Goose chase.
Yeah, he's like
to lead the ships away. Yeah. So yeah, like I think like for me, screen time isn't everything. If these characters, when they are there, are sort of written well in things and meaningful things, and I think they will with her, and she deserves it. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Agree with you 100%.
Any of these posters that you like the look of, Alan?
I like them all as a collective. I mean, I have to admit, I've got them on Facebook. I'm just looking at them as we're talking.
Well, I'm looking at Finn right now, and that Finn looks awesome. He looks almost like Han Solo from '77. His attire, like those pants are beautiful, and that jacket's also beautiful. It's very Star Wars, and I'm digging it. I wish I had those in my wardrobe.
Yeah, the very now that you look at it, yeah, they've got the stripe down the side, and they kind of remind you of the kind of pants that used to wear for like the old US cavalry used to wear, you know, that kind of pair of pants.
100%. That's probably where George got the idea for curly and blue stripes. Do you know what I mean? Like, George knows his history and he knows his powerful stories of the past.
And that's what makes it all work so well.
That's what makes it feel so visceral and real. And it doesn't feel like a made-up world. It feels like a lived-in, a real world. It feels like an old story you're reading in a book, like an old journal almost. Is what it feels like. And I think this picture, what the dress Finn has, he's got his own jacket now, those pants. Obviously, it's not the same as Han's attire in '77, but it's similar enough where, like, do you know what I mean? You get those cool vibes, that awesome feeling of like of what you got when you saw that movie, and it fits right in, which is great.
I think whoever's done these have got the lighting perfect. Like the light it's just enough to shine off and just be like, look, every character on it. I mean, yeah, I mean every character's got their own poster, but you can just see that in that one poster, that character is important, as is the next one, as the next one, as the next one, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, none shows that more than R2-D2. Actually, I'm quite loving the R2-D2 one.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have a big bit to play in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot more than he has in the last two, is what I believe.
I think so. So
that ties up our poster talk. Just got two questions I want to ask you, what I've thought of. I want to get your thoughts on. First one is Vice Admiral Holdo. Obviously sacrificed herself in Last Jedi.
I know.
She put the ship at light speed and went through the fleet.
I always have this.
Do you think she could appear in The Rise of Skywalker? It doesn't really show you. Obviously, it implies with the tone and music that she sacrificed herself and has died. But obviously, we see the damage to the First Order. But do we see the remnants of her ship, or did her ship actually go into light speed and come out wherever it come out?
I don't think. I mean, in the natural, normal terms, I don't think you've got any chance of surviving that. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing that bummed me about that film, because I really like this character. You know what I mean? And to have her die in that film was just like, you know, I really thought they could have done so much more for her. So if she has,
that was a powerful moment. I mean, to give you life for the rest of the crew to survive is that's a really powerful moment.
I mean,
if you're going to die, that's why you want to die. But I just think that. I mean, I think she's probably dead. But I was just wondering, what if? Who's to say that? Because her ship was going. Maybe that acted like it was like a cutter, so that it didn't. That took minimal damage, but did all the damage to everything else. Maybe it probably didn't. But do you think there's a slim chance that maybe she come out of hyperspace somewhere and then obviously found some allies and then rejoins back up with them?
Maybe there was an escape pod where she was or something. You know, it's a film world, isn't it? You can always make something up. You know, I mean, you look at the First Order ship didn't exactly blow straight up. You know what I mean? So maybe there is a chance that she could have been. Could have survived it, you know. I would love it if she has, because I think she's an amazing character, you know.
Well, that's wait. I think the chances are very slim, but I thought it was a really cool. I enjoyed thinking about that. The thought thinking about it was could it have happened? Maybe it did. I don't think it did. Slim chance, but just the idea was quite fascinating.
Yeah. I would just absolutely love it.
Thinking about it, I don't know why it just popped in my head. But 10 minutes thinking about it.
I would love it if she has survived. I really would, you know. I don't think she has.
I must have read it on Twitter. I think I must have read it on Twitter, and that's why it's popped in my head. Someone must have maybe put him an idea, but really they make me think about it in a cool way. So
yeah, but I suppose then to bring her back, then she's not really making that sacrifice like you've just mentioned, really, innit? You know what I mean? So,
but I mean, she would still make the sacrifice. I mean, she probably didn't know. If she has survived, probably didn't know that. She didn't know that this could be the end, if that makes sense. And it's not about dying; it's about willing to die. But yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see. Second question, based on that is obviously you've mentioned the R2-D2 poster, how cool it looks. This new character poster. I said there, I think he's gonna have a big part to play in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And by that again, I don't mean he's gonna have a lot of screen time, but I mean when he
just an important thing.
When he is on the screen, he's gonna be doing important things.
Yeah.
I can see him being part of this space battle. I can see him being with Poe in the X-wing.
Cool, right?
I can see BB-8 being part of. BB-8 is with the horses running across the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, exactly.
BB-8's with them, so I think if Poe's in the X-wing, I think you could have R2-D2. And who else? Why would you not want R2-D2? He helped destroy the first Death Star. I mean, yeah, he'd been blown up, but he was in the ship. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
He saves everyone else's, but throughout the entire prequel and prequel and original trilogies. So I can see him getting a big part to play, which would be awesome.
Yeah, he has.
For me, I think that would be a really good use of him. I think to have him as Poe's co-pilot.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that rear stabilizer's not working.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it is. Need to be fixed now. Definitely. Yeah, so I think that brings an end to our talk of the end TV spot and talk of those two questions I posed here. We did sort of open up. The reason why I was pushing social media at the start of the episode was because we've sort of asked for some questions today because I knew we were recording because of how awesome this TV spot was.
Yeah.
But I knew that the TV spot was short, so I wanted to fill the episode out a bit. So I posted on our social media channels about asking us a few questions. We've had two, so two have come in, so that's definitely awesome. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to pull those up there on the Twitters. So the first one comes from Dan the Boom.
Right.
Dan the Boom, hashtag loves climbing, it says here.
Nice one.
Well, Dan the Boom, I hope you're as good at climbing as you are asking questions, because he asked a pretty cool one. So what he asked was, Starkiller, who was obviously the main protagonist for the Force Unleashed games.
Yeah.
Played by Sam Witwer, actually, in this movie, so our voice is more. So Starkiller versus the new guy from Jedi Fallen Order. 1v1, no force powers, just saber mastery.
Oh,
so
celebrity death match. Yeah, we'll go.
Sort of, yeah. MTV at its finest.
Yeah.
So obviously that's Cal Kestis from the new game Jedi Fallen Order, which I've played 2.5 hours of, and I'm absolutely loving. I'm also taking my time with it because every little thing's awesome. I look at every tree I walk past. And to be fair, more often than not, every little thing you can scan things for details, and it helps you in the game. And like the details in this game as well. Like I scanned something, and it was to do with like it brought up something from the Clone Wars, and like it brought up information that I already knew from an episode of the Clone Wars. So for how subtly integral this game is, and how much it binds all the information together, is just brilliant.
Cool.
Someone's put a lot of hard work into this game, and I recommend Alan, you should go and buy the game, and anybody else who's listening, go and buy Jedi Fallen Order. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I do. I really do actually want the game, but it actually means buying a new console because I've just got an Xbox 360. I haven't really like upgraded from there, so it's not like just buying the game for me. I've got to actually upgrade the whole bloody lot. So
yeah, the story's that good where buy a new console or do the cheaper option, wait for me to finish it, and I'll tell you all about it.
I think it's almost worth buying a new console for, to be honest with you.
It is really good, mate.
That good.
And like finding out these things when you find them out is proper. Like it's like these trailers when you see a little something that means something, or when you read these novels and it's got a little sentence that means something from a different novel or from a movie or from a TV show.
Yeah.
It's full of that, which is what is so awesome about Star Wars at the moment with the canon. But getting back to the question, so for me, I mean, I enjoyed the Force Unleashed games, but Starkiller as a character, I never really enjoyed. He was too powerful, almost like for a thing. Obviously, this is saying no force powers, just saber mastery.
Good question.
So I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say Cal Kestis just because I've got more of a connection to his character. Like I'm going through his journey in this game, and I'm really connected to him. I really feel for him. He's a well-written character, and he's well acted as well.
I think I'm going to go with you just simply because he survived Order 66. He's got to have something about him.
Well, he did. He survived Order 66 as a Padawan, which is great.
Yeah.
Hard. Not many did it.
Difficult question though. I really honestly, my honest opinion is on that day. I know it sounds a bit wishy-washy on the fence, but on that day, each one of them could have the other one.
Oh, definitely. But I think for me, the journey I'm going on with Carl is that you can sort of you learn from his past and learn from what you do in the game from the present as well. So I'm enjoying going on that journey, and he's getting like more confident in his abilities, realizing his place in the world.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. And also deepen an emotional connection to him. So I feel like he would learn and develop into sort of a better lightsaber duelist than Starkiller is. Obviously, Starkiller starts off as a Sith apprentice who eventually sort of turns good. But you can play the alternate ending where you stay bad.
Good.
But yeah, so I'm going to go just because he's a better written character and he's a character that makes more sense and fits in this canon awesomely. So I'm going to go with Cal Kestis.
And I'm going to agree with you only just. And good question, Dan. And just from now on, I'll actually want to see Star Wars Celebrity Deathmatch.
Well, there's probably money in that somewhere. I mean, I'm surprised Robot Chicken haven't done that yet.
Yeah, love Robot Chicken. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome guys. The next question comes on from Big Mickey Pells, and what he says is, I love Darth Maul. Maul is life. Who do you think will win out of Darth Maul versus Kylo Ren?
Oh, second episode of Celebrity Deathmatch. I've got more. Definitely more.
Well, I think Michael would like you because by the sound of these messages he sent, he absolutely loves Darth Maul.
Because Maul's got more of a killer instinct than Kylo Ren.
Does he though? Because Kylo Ren did kill his dad.
I know, but he thought about it too much. You know,
That's worse. That's worse. He actually thought about it, then did it.
I know, but
you would have thought he would think about it, then
should I? Shouldn't I? In that one moment, Maul would just have his head straight off.
Yeah, I think Maul technically is the better saber duelist.
Oh yeah.
But I think the raw power, Kylo has him. So it depends how angry Maul gets him.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I suppose friggin' Obi-Wan did Maul quite easily in the end, didn't he? Nice simple little move, dun dun dun.
But Maul hated him so much. Like Maul only hated two things in his life. That point, two purposes was the Emperor. And Maul,
yeah.
The Emperor and Kenobi. Sorry. And he got there and he'd let that get the better of him.
Yeah, I think if anything, that's Maul's downfall. You would, but I'm not. Yeah, I would say Maul, definitely.
You're going Maul, and I'm gonna go with Kylo.
Cool.
Sorry, Michael Pels.
Do we get the beers in?
Well, maybe we should start this show. I mean, we've got the figures, so we should get them out and just start motion animation company. I've just bought a house, but I don't think my girlfriend would like it if I changed I've already changed the third bedroom into my podcast office to record this in and to keep figures in.
Oh,
if I change the second bedroom into a stop motion animation studio,
yeah,
I think she might leave us.
Oh, you've got to start making that look like the interior of the Millennium Falcon or something like that. Or, you walk in and it's like all of a sudden you're in the cantina.
No, I wish, but time and money and also my relationship probably that's not going to happen. To be fair, it's looking really cool. Like haven't got any shelves up yet, but I've got some detolfs, which is IKEA's version of glass cases, for when you scratch that figure-ish and you put the figures in. So
cool.
I've got those ready to put some exclusives on display.
Yeah.
And some Lego on display. I've got my desk set up where I'm recording today, and then we're also going to I've got an awesome George Lucas by inspiration picture framed.
Right.
And I'm going to put some more art up and we get some shelves in to put my figures on the shelves, Hasbro Black Series. So yeah, it's coming along nicely, to be fair. The room space is looking really cool place of recording.
Nice one.
Thank you, Louise, for allowing me to have a Star Wars room. Big ups to you. Alan, you got any lasting thoughts or any questions for me as we finish up here?
No, not really. I'm just strapped in for the ride now. I'm just, ready to go for the last film and, get it, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Just enjoy what's happening right now because, like, as you've always said, we are living in the golden age of Star Wars. And yes, we are, it's the end of the saga, but it's by no means the end of Star Wars. Now we're just filling in the holes. So it's just an enjoyable time to enjoy the ride.
It's almost getting too. I've been joking about this on social media. It's almost like too much. Where like with the Mandalorian dropping, and then with like the Rise of Skywalker teaser spot that we've just had, and these posters, and there's a new Mandalorian episode coming this Friday, and then there's the Kylo Ren comic coming out, which ties into Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
There's the awesome novel Resistance Reborn out. There's the Force Vector novel out as well. There's so much going on. There's so much. I don't have time to go to work. but I need to go to work to buy all these things. It's weird.
Yeah, I was thinking this year that like I think it was this morning I was thinking on this. Like you watch the film, then you watched it at Christmas, then you watched it the next Christmas. I mean, you watch it so often that it's ingrained. You pretty much know the words, But you had the time for the story to develop inside your mind, and right now you are getting. It was a Bob Iger that said Star Wars fatigue, and I do see what he was saying. There's a lot.
I don't about fatigue because I think everything they're doing at the minute is really good. I think for him to say Solo was fatigue, I think that was a good excuse because of a bad marketing decision by him to put that out in summer.
I don't see what's wrong with Solo. I think it's an amazing film.
Well, I mean, regardless of the quality of the movie, the problem was that they put it in summer. And it didn't, and the marketing didn't work properly. And it didn't flop because it made its budget back, but it didn't hit the heights they thought. But again, Lucasfilm wanted to put that film out. Like Kathy Kennedy wanted to put that film out in December, especially with the change of director when it happened so late in the process. And Disney decided to keep it in summer, and that was the issue, and that was why it performed how it did. in my opinion. It had nothing to do with fatigue. I thought it had to do with marketing mistakes made by the Disney company.
Quite possibly. But for me, I mean, as you know, as we said at the beginning of the show, I haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, and I'm quite, as much as I'm having to avoid a lot of news and social media and all the rest of it, to avoid as many spoilers as I can possibly avoid. You know, I mean, I haven't avoided the Baby Yoda thing. You can't avoid that.
Don't say that on the episode, Alan. Other people might not have heard it. Bloody spoiler alert, everybody.
I'm spoiling people.
Right, don't mention it anymore. Don't mention that word.
But I'm also, in the back of my mind, I'm also kind of glad that I'm going to watch it when we get Disney Plus in March, because it means I can put an end on the saga and then start Mandalorian, you know?
Yeah, I've always thought it would have been cool if they'd put this out after.
Yeah.
It's like a little, Star Wars is finished, but no, it's not yet as a Mandalorian, but we've got it when we've got it. And like I said, I've seen the first episodes and they're brilliant. And I can't wait for episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I've watched them, because I've come across things while trying to find them, like spoilers. As you mentioned there, you've come across one as well. And there's a lot more out there. And even like the Star Wars Twitter account and like the Star Wars social media and the Disney Plus social media are like talking about them and showing you pictures openly now, like 2 weeks later.
Exactly. I mean, you open your news feed and there's the pictures. You can't avoid it.
Yeah. So I'm glad I watched it when I did, because I watched it without having those moments spoiled. So now I remember seeing those things first time and loving it. But yeah, I think obviously you're not on social media, Alan, because you don't want the government to find you.
Nah.
But I am, again, we're going to bash the social media over the listeners' heads. So again, if you want to follow the Star Wars podcast on Twitter, it's @BorsStar. If you want to send us an email, it is starwarspodcast@gmail.com. And I've been one of your hosts, Peter, and you can find me at Pete Hitman Hart, me and Dr. Bret Hart, my favourite wrestler. Both on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook, Peter Adams. Come and interact with me there. Alan, any closing thoughts as we go into the next week of Star Wars?
Not really, just excited to see what's coming next.
Well, it's probably going to be dropping a few days out of the blue. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I think as we record this, we haven't actually watched this week's Star Wars show on YouTube.
No.
So could be some news in there.
Yeah, it's going to come thick and fast now, isn't it? You know, a lot of tidbits here and there. So
Definitely.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just strapped in, ready for just going to enjoy the ride.
Definitely. You know? I mean, this movie is going to change everything. It's going to send on an emotional roller coaster. We're not going to be the same, and I mean that in a good way. But we're not going to be the same after the Rise of Skywalker, and I'm just so excited. I just can't wait to watch this movie. I can't wait to see the next thing they're releasing, to watch that and then sort of absorb all this information, absorb all these toys that are coming. It's just the best time to be alive, isn't it? The golden age. I
suppose it is, yeah. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we'll end the episode. Thank you very much for coming back and joining me.
No problems. Anytime, Peter.
I just want to say a big shout out. Basically, for the episode past, well, not the episode, but the podcast past 400 listens or downloads.
Oh, wow.
At the beginning of this week. When you consider we just started this podcast in August, I'm really proud of that. So I just want to say a big thank you to you, Alan. You're a big part. You obviously our main co-host. Always keeping me writing, keeping me going. So thank you very much for you joining me. Big thank you to Katie Adams. She came on, did a great episode on Jedi Fallen Order preview. She will be back to talk about the tie-in comic and to talk about the game once we've completed those. Big shout out to last week's host, Ian Kay. He did a great job coming to talk about The Mandalorian with me. He's going to be coming back on to talk about some comics that he's read, and hopefully we'll be recording more Mandalorian recap shows as well. And probably last but not least, a big shout out to Podcast Royalty, Brian Balance, probably the nicest boy I've ever met in the world.
Isn't he just?
Yeah. He is, and if you haven't checked his podcast out, go and do it. He's a part of the Donkey Diva show, and he's got his awesome solo podcast, The Interesting Podcast with Jedi Brian. So thanks, Brian, for coming on doing the episode you did. We definitely want you to come back on at some point as well. But yeah, thanks to all you guys, and thanks to you, Alan, for sort of keeping righting the ship and keeping the ship going. Like I said, at the beginning of the week, we're past 400 downloads, which I think is awesome. Considering
that's amazing. That's really cool. Thank you for listening.
No, definitely, yeah. I think just onwards and upwards. Let's keep pushing it. So I think that's a nice way to round off. Lovely positive point.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Cool. Thank you for listening. And, hold by the sounds of it, Peter, you've got some really exciting things coming up.
Definitely. So thanks for joining us, Alan. Thanks for listening, everybody. May the force be with you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.